Super Mario Galaxy's soundtrack is about 16 years old, but 140,000 people still search for it monthly. Why do people still care about this music? Is this a notable piece of art that can hold up to present-day soundtracks? Or have nostalgia goggles blinded the eyes of Nintendo fans? Let's take a look. Hi, I'm Skip. I'm a video creator, live streamer, skilled game player, and music fanatic. I'm interested in reflecting on movie, TV, and video game original soundtracks to discover what aspects make them timeless pieces of art. Today, we'll be looking at Super Mario Galaxy and unpacking why this soundtrack hasn't been forgotten throughout the years. More specifically, we'll be looking at the creation of Super Mario Galaxy and its soundtrack, how it uses its music to illustrate different settings and themes, and how it effectively uses pacing to create emotions in the listener. Also, later in this video, I'm going to be explaining one thing that I found that Super Mario Galaxy's soundtrack does better than any other, and what I believe elevates it not only as the greatest video game soundtrack, but maybe even one of the best soundtracks of all time. How about we jump right into it? Let's go. On to level 1-1. How about we start the video? Throughout the early 2000s, the way that games were being made was changing. The leap to 3D had been made, and with game technology advancing, developers were beginning to create incredible 3D worlds. Nintendo was no exception, releasing the GameCube in 2001. Oh neat, I was released that year too! Metroid Prime, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, Luigi's Mansion, and of course, Super Mario Sunshine were big accomplishments for Nintendo. 3D games were starting to look really good, and Nintendo especially cared about the polish and styles of their unique experiences. This dedication to quality was no different with the early development of Super Mario Galaxy in 2005. While marching towards the goal of creating a more casual experience for every gamer, Mahito Yokota was in charge of composing and arranging the music for Super Mario Galaxy. As development continued, Yokota pushed for the idea of a fully orchestral soundtrack. This was new for Nintendo, and they'd never really done anything like this before. Koji Kondo, Mario composer, and advisor on this project, wasn't initially sure that an orchestra was the play. It would be expensive, and he was scared people would be too caught up in listening to the music, not focus well on the gameplay. In an Iwata Asks interview, Koji Kondo actually said, "It almost seems like while you're playing the game, the music is coming from a CD player, not from the game console, and it feels like you're obligated to play the game in time to the music." For that reason, Nintendo has only used a live orchestral soundtrack on a few occasions in the past. Yokota understood this, but still searched for a solution that would solve this problem. What if the music was played in time with the gameplay? That's actually what they decided to do. That's why Yokota enlisted the help of Masafumi Kawamura. Coming from the developments of Donkey Kong Jungle Beat and The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, Kawamura had experience making sure that certain actions would line up to the music. This is something that they wanted for Super Mario Galaxy. When I was researching this, I didn't actually know that this was a thing. If you pay attention to the harp from the Sling Stars in this next clip, you'll notice this in action. Now, this was actually a lot easier said than done. For this to actually work, they actually had the orchestra team play in tempo with a clip from the game itself. Before they could work on any of that, they actually had to create the music for the musicians to play. After Yokota arranged and presented the first track to Koji Kondo, Kondo actually told him, "This is no good." Youch, okay. Yokota was shocked. Kawamura actually said, "I remember observing Yokota-san at the time. He looked so down about it that I really felt sorry for him. He really did say, if this doesn't work, I will quit my job." Yokota also said, "When the track was rejected, the words of Kondo-san had really stuck with me. Those words were, 'Yokota-san, if somewhere in your mind you have an image of Mario is cute, please get rid of it.' When I heard that, I realized that I had always had this image that Mario was a character for kids. and without realizing it, I had been composing cute music that I thought would appeal to children. I asked Kondo-san at the time, then what kind of music would work with Mario? He replied that Mario is cool. I believe that the Super Mario Galaxy soundtrack does an impeccable job setting a scene. I believe that it illustrates and perfectly describes the different situations that you'll encounter in the game. This one kind of sounds like sand. This one sounds like you're storming a space fortress. And this one sounds like you're slowly losing your mind, collecting all of the purple coins, and you just keep dying, and ah! And of course I would feel these things. I've played this game and these images are stuck in my head. But what about somebody who's never played this game? How can I know that it perfectly illustrates settings and themes if I only ever know it from these settings and themes? Okay, say something.
Hi. What's happy?
Happy? Do you see yourself anywhere right now?
I feel like I'm in a wooded area with lots of little animals. I almost feel like a Disney princess, not quite Disney princess,
Yeah.
because
Do you see any water?
oh yeah, definitely. Oh, I guess it is more beachy, isn't it? Well, I feel like I'm creeping through something. Ooh,
What do you feel?
sounding creepier now. It
Sounds-
sounds like there's ghosts in the background. Maybe a haunted man. I feel like this is more space-like.
What do you feel? It's space.
I feel like I am standing on top of something looking at an expanse of space.
Is this like a mountain, like a tower, like what is this? Anything around this?
I feel like it's changed because it's become a little more like a march. Walking down the street.
Walking down the street? Like in a city? Or in a town?
No, it almost feels more town-like. Like, it's like I'm saying hello to all the neighbors right now.
Oh,
Have a great day.
that's
Yeah,
super fun.
it's feeling very Newman show.
What's the weather
Truman
like?
Show.
Weather like that?
Oh, it's sunny.
Very sunny.
This is just a happy day.
Oh, that's all. Do you
Yeah.
like this song?
I'm sure why not.
Mom, would you
Sure
play
why
this
not.
in
I
the
just
video?
do like the happy music, I guess.
All right.
This is something that I could play for my first grade class and you know,
I'll send
dance
you,
to
I'll
it.
send you the link. All right.
That's perfect. This makes me want to go to sleep.
Does it feel relaxing?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Where do you put yourself?
Well, initially when I said asleep, I was just kind of seeing myself in bed, but I guess I see stars and I don't know, it's just a very gentle, sounds like a lullaby. I feel like I've heard this before. I feel like Jonathan playing video games, I've heard this.
And there's a chance you may have.
Alright, this is sounding very Mario to me.
Yeah. How does it make you feel? What do you
I
think?
don't know, like I've just gotten stars. Initially, when it started, to me, it sounded like a musical number in a musical. But it is a little grander now. I don't know. Well, I guess it sounds. Well, it certainly has a very gentle sound. Initially, I kind of thought lullaby-ish as well, but almost more balletic.
Open your eyes.
Okay.
So all of these songs were from one video game.
Is it a Mario game?
It is a Mario
Yeah,
game.
they sounded like Mario.
All of these are from Super Mario Galaxy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After reviewing the findings from this little experiment, I found it interesting how close my mom was to describing some of the levels that these songs come from.
Oh yeah, that has Mario written all over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next one, the one that you felt like you were looking out,
Mhm.
that's Buoy Bates, giant tower on this suspended ship in space.
Okay, so they did a really good job of having the music describe
Yeah.
that because that's what I felt like.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
This is a testament to the soundtrack's dedication to nailing these themes. In 2008, Nintendo actually offered the Super Mario Galaxy soundtrack CD as a Club Nintendo reward. I'm actually super bummed that I missed it. I would do anything to get one. And along with it came composer commentaries of all the songs on the first CD. It's so interesting to me that we can see exactly what Mahito Yokota was thinking when he was composing so many of these songs. When he was trying to set these scenes for the player to run around it. For example, the iconic song, The Star Festival. Yokota said, "I wrote this with the image of an evening festival in mind. Happy times seem to pass by before you know it, don't they?" Oh, you just get sucked in. Or Space Junk Road, one of my favorite tracks. Yokota said, "This music underscores Mario's star-catching exploits, set against a beautiful galaxy backdrop. Using piano and translucent synth, I tried to create a sense of grandeur, somewhat different to that achieved with an orchestra." Or the also iconic Gusty Garden Galaxy, the space between the sky, the wind, and the stars. Enjoy the huge orchestral sound of adventuring action. The soundtrack delivers divisive music that accentuates the environments that the player is experiencing. This actually relates to that one thing that I believe Super Mario Galaxy does really good with its music that I mentioned later in the video. I can't wait to tell you about it. But if you haven't noticed, I'm really passionate about Super Mario Galaxy and its soundtrack. I've gotten so excited compiling my feelings in this video and sharing them with you. What about you? Is there a particular game soundtrack, or even from a movie or a television series, that you really enjoy, that you love? Write it down in the comments. I'm interested to see how many of these I've actually listened to and I've enjoyed. Next, we're going to talk about pacing. Not like pacing around a room. Pacing like the rhythm of a story. How the chain of events fall in place. I believe that Super Mario Galaxy has incredible pacing, and the music accompanying each beat creates a real emotional and captivating story. The game starts with Mario at a star festival. Toads are excited to be celebrating under the beaming starlight. However, the peace does not last. Bowser appears and is a real threat. He's blowing up an inhabited town, freezing toads and crystals. He's airlifting Peach's castle with UFOs. Mario rushes in to save Peach but is blasted away. 10-year-old B was concerned. What happened to Mario? Bowser is evil. Like, these are bad things that are happening. I was emotionally engaged, and the music backed that up. However, the game reminds you that this isn't the end with its music. It's okay. Take a second. Relax. Be mindful before beginning. Take solace as you prepare. But once you're ready, a real adventure will begin. Once you do decide to get off this planet, this is exciting, enthralling, suspenseful. The music tells you all these things as you soar through space towards your goal. And this is all in the first 10 minutes! This game continues this story of Mario pursuing his goal of beating Bowser through music. But more stories are introduced. There's Rosalina. Where did she come from? Why is she helping Mario? All of these questions are backed up by music. Story and the music are one, they're interchangeable. This music brings you along for the space opera of your life. And this actually brings me to the one thing that I believe that Super Mario Galaxy does in its soundtrack that elevates it as one of the best soundtracks of all time. The Super Mario Galaxy soundtrack perfectly describes space. Space is a dangerous vacuum of unknown dangers. You could freeze, your head could explode, blood vessels. I'm not smart enough to explain all this. With infinity comes an infinite amount of danger. It also comes with an infinite amount of beauty. This moment explains just that. Mario is a speck in a grand universe that's millions of times larger than him. It's so easy to be afraid or worried for what may come. However, you shouldn't worry. Focus on the beauty ahead and take your first steps. He's surrounded by stars and galaxies that hold an untold amount of adventure. Super impactful moment that sets the scene for what you're about to experience. The music is right behind you, reminding you of the beauty. And the same goes for the song Space Junk Galaxy. Like I said, it's one of my favorites in the entire game. It demonstrates the mysterious vastness of space, but it also reminds the listener of space's beauty. What could be out there to explore? It may just be me on this journey, but I can feel safe in the starlight. I also find it interesting because these themes are similar to what we see in the story about the little girl in the storybook. She too was lost in space, but she didn't need to be afraid. There may be loss and trials in the unknown, but also great joy. Never forget the adventures that you've encountered. I feel like these themes could be explained in their own videos. Royal Joke and Jacob Geller do a great job explaining these themes in their own videos, and I really recommend you go check them out. They're great watches. I also found this comment watching their videos, and I thought it was really interesting, so I wanted to highlight it. The game even goes so far as to frame space not as a scary monster, but an innocent victim, tormented by Bowser's tyranny, a crying interstellar ecosystem. All those strange worlds are no longer real-life hazards, but friends in need. The universe becomes one giant family, a place where everyone is meant to be and to live peacefully with each other. After all, the ending and Mario's final words before the credits did not come out of nowhere.
Welcome! Welcome, new galaxy!
Super Mario Galaxy is a special game to me, and the music is an aspect that I believe turns it into the perfect game that it is. If you've never played this masterpiece, I assure it will touch you. I think everyone should experience this game at least once in their life. I'm just happy that I could get excited and share with you my feelings on it. If you want to see me get passionate about another topic, well, check out my video about my live streaming career and the fails that I made along the way. I know you can learn from my mistakes. Give that subscribe button a kiss if you want to see me break down other interesting topics in the future. I love digging deep into this stuff, and I love sharing it. Anyways, that's all for me. Keep loving bacon, kids.